Hello, everyone. Um, I'm back, and this is an abbreviated version of the 37-minute video that I published earlier today. And here I'm just focusing on the basics, okay, and how to do it, and um, just uh, the brass tacks basics. Okay, so first of all, this is regarding the press conference, open houses, SNAC.bar, and the network of conversations that all of these support. Okay, network of what kind of conversations? What I refer to as transformational conversations, which are conversations in support of saving, healing, and transforming life on earth. Simple as that. Okay, and there are already millions of recurring transformational conversations of this nature all around the world, across all languages and cultures. And yet, this network of conversations is really not a network of conversations because it doesn't self-identify as such. It has no way of finding each other systematically, programmatically. There's no Google of the Zoomosphere of transformational conversations. So what we really have is a set of conversations in the mathematical sense, not a network. So the network itself is emergent, right? And it's emerging through all the forms of connections that are coming into being, such as networks of conversations that you can join and participate in, like Good of the Whole, like the conversation.cc, et cetera. And there are certainly events that are put on where lots of different conversations come together and get to mix and get to know each other. And this is all wonderful. But what we really need to do is take it all the way through to the end zone, right? And, what does that look like? And that's what we're fundamentally looking at right here. And so what I'm going to do is introduce some very simple mechanisms that will result in essentially the missing Chicago yellow pages, if you will, of the network of conversations, as well as kind of the planetary debut, right? The coming out, the introduction of these different conversations to the world. So a formal debut, which is the press conference, the weekly press conference, where everyone gets to present their particular conversation, introduce their particular conversation to the world. And then the Chicago Yellow Pages is SNAC.bar, right? And we'll get into the details of that. And everyone is welcome to participate. Everyone is welcome to sign up to present a 2-minute presentation at the press conference. Just go to thepressconference.org, click on sign up, fill out the information, and there's a very helpful how-to video right there on the sign up page that you can watch. This video here and the 37-minute longer version are really more the fundamentals, right? The theory behind it. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and screen share. Okay. First, this is kind of like a little glossary of the key elements. Pretty basic stuff. This dark circle represents a conversation, a single conversation. And by this, what I really mean is a recurring conversation that goes on and on and on, whether it meets daily, weekly, or monthly, it all qualifies as recurring. This little donut signifies a person. And so here you have a conversation in the middle, like a table surrounded by a bunch of people having a conversation. And this other symbol here represents a recurring conversation. So this dark line is sort of like a timeline. Now I go much deeper into all this in the 37-minute video. So this is, again, just the bare bones basics. So the press conference, as I mentioned, is all about debuting or introducing conversations into the world, right? So let's say, like, for example, I'm going to do a 2-minute presentation on November 19th about SRM, which stands for Solar Radiation Management, right? That points to, or will live in, an open house, what we're calling an open house, where actually a number of different conversations will reside. And that open house is called Climate Change. And so the way this works is I give this 2-minute introduction to a conversation called SRM. And I associate that conversation with a specific open house, in this case, an open house called Climate Change, which meets once a week on Tuesdays from 12 to 2 Pacific time. And that in turn, that fact will appear over here in SNAC.bar. So in SNAC.bar, you have exactly the same content, right? So for example, there might be another conversation here that's introduced by someone else called, drawdown, right? Because that relates to climate change very strongly. Another one could be about, planting trees, right? And so on. Now over here on SNAC.bar, so every week we're going to have a press conference where we're going to debut 100 different conversations and their associated open houses. And then you'll be able to find these in far into the future, no matter how long in the past the press conference was done where they debuted themselves, you'll be able to find the conversation on SRM, right? You'll be able to find the conversation on drawdown, right? And many others, many others. So they just keep getting added to. And so this just keeps expanding. And as we explore in the long video, there's very, very logical ways to break this down into subcategories, subtopics. And you can do a much more refined search on anything you want, right? Any of these major topics: climate change, the Amazon and other rainforests, human needs and human rights, like feeding everyone, the need for food, and on and on and on and on and on. And again, along with subtopics, so makes it very easy to find. So what we're talking about here, again, to use the the previous analogy that I talked about, this is the Chicago Yellow Pages of transformational conversations. The press conference is sort of like the secret love child between TED Talks and the Paris Fashion Show. And here we simply have the requirement that all these conversations that are debuted at the press conference have an open house that anyone can come and visit and talk with you, talk with the presenter. And, if they don't make it this week, they can make it the next week, because it's an ongoing thing, if it's weekly or monthly or daily, with whatever frequency. Some of these are literally daily. So anyway, that's the introduction. Please check out the links below to sign up. And if you have any questions, just put them in the sign up form and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. And thank you so much for watching. And again, I recommend the longer video to go much deeper. Thank you so much. Thanks.